What if I told you there's a secret to jump-starting seeds in soil that's completely undisturbed? It sounds impossible, but this method bypasses all the usual challenges of difficult planting conditions. Prepare to have your mind blown as we unveil a game-changing solution for rapid plant establishment, even in the most challenging environments. Welcome back to the Humus Heritage family. Today we're diving into something that will completely transform how you think about seed starting. Picture this. You're staring at a patch of wild, untouched soil. Maybe it's compacted clay covered in weeds or bone dry from neglect. Traditional gardening wisdom tells you to till, amend, and prepare extensively. But what if there was a faster, more elegant way that works with nature instead of against it? Every gardener has encountered that stubborn patch of earth that seems, well, almost impossible to cultivate. You know the one, that corner of your property where nothing seems to grow, where the soil honestly feels like concrete, or where existing vegetation creates an impenetrable web of competition. Traditional methods, they demand backbreaking work, double digging, adding soil amendments, careful pH testing, and then, after weeks of preparation, you can finally start to think about planting a single seed. The problem with conventional approaches is that they assume we need to completely transform the soil environment before anything can grow. This creates a massive barrier to expanding our growing spaces and often discourages gardeners from tackling challenging areas altogether. But nature doesn't work this way. In the wild, plants establish themselves in the harshest conditions without human intervention, and they do it remarkably quickly when conditions align. You know, the secret lies in understanding that seeds don't actually need perfect soil to germinate. What they really need are perfect conditions for those first few critical days of their life. And once they're established, most plants, well, they're incredibly adaptable and can actually start to improve their own growing environment through natural processes over time. The revolutionary technique we're exploring today centers around something I like to call microenvironment seed balls. It's really a sophisticated evolution of traditional seed bombing, and it creates perfect germination conditions, no matter what the surrounding soil quality is like. So, this method actually combines ancient wisdom with modern understanding of plant physiology to create what basically amounts to a portable growing medium that travels with your seed. The science behind this approach is, honestly, elegantly simple. When we create these specialized seed balls, we're essentially building a tiny greenhouse around each seed. The carefully selected organic materials create a microclimate that maintains optimal moisture, provides immediate nutrition, and protects the delicate seedling during its most vulnerable phase. You know, the genius really lies in the gradual dissolution of the outer shell, which lets the emerging root system transition smoothly from the enriched environment into the native soil. The core ingredients for our Catalyst seed balls are honestly surprisingly accessible. We start with a base of finely screened compost or worm castings, which provides both nutrition and beneficial microorganisms. To this, we add coconut coir for moisture retention and structure and a small amount of clay or bentonite as a natural binding agent. The magic ingredient, however, is biochar or finely ground charcoal, which creates air pockets, retains nutrients, and provides long-term soil improvement benefits. The preparation process is almost meditative in its simplicity. Begin by mixing your seeds with the dry ingredients in a ratio of approximately 1 part seeds to 10 parts amendment mixture. Gradually add water while mixing until the consistency resembles wet clay that holds together when squeezed, but isn't soggy. So you'll want to roll the mixture into balls that are just a bit bigger than a marble, making sure, that each one has several seeds inside. This really helps boost your chances for better establishment. The placement of your seed balls is honestly where art meets science, and, well, understanding how this works can make all the difference between spectacular success and disappointing failure. The key here is figuring out those microenvironments within your tough soil that offer some natural advantages. Look for little dips where water tends to collect, spots that are protected from the harshest sun, or even places where organic matter has just kind of built up on its own. Timing your placement so it coincides with natural moisture cycles, well, that provides a significant advantage. The ideal window is just before a period of consistent moisture, either from forecasted rain or, from your ability to provide supplemental water. The actual placement technique, honestly, requires a gentle touch. Create shallow depressions in the soil, just deep enough to nestle your seed balls, making sure they make good contact with the earth while still remaining partially exposed. Space your seed balls according to the mature size of your intended plants, but, if anything, err on the side of closer spacing. Natural selection will determine the strongest survivors. Watering technique during the establishment phase is honestly super important, and it really does differ a lot from your usual seed starting methods. Instead of those frequent light sprinklings that, could actually wash away your seed balls, you want to go for deep but gentle waterings. This way, you're thoroughly soaking the seed balls and making sure the moisture gets down into the surrounding soil. So, it's best to use a watering wand or set your sprinkler to a gentle setting, and always water either early in the morning or in the evening. That way you can minimize evaporation losses and give your seeds the best chance to soak up all that moisture. Once your seeds start germinating, usually within 5 to 10 days depending on the variety and, the conditions, your role changes from creator to gentle guardian. The new seedlings will first grow within the nutrient-rich environment of the dissolving seed ball, but pretty soon their roots will start exploring the native soil beyond. It's a pretty cool transformation to witness. So this transition period is honestly pretty critical, and it really calls for subtle intervention instead of, heavy-handed management. As your seedlings start to establish themselves, go ahead and begin creating micro-mulch zones around those successful germination sites using whatever organic material you have locally available. Grass clippings, fallen leaves, or even pulled weeds can totally serve this purpose, helping to retain moisture and suppress immediate competition. Natural nutrient cycling actually begins almost right away, as the young plants start interacting with the native soil ecosystem. The implications of mastering this technique, they extend far beyond just simple seed starting. You're basically learning to think like nature, spotting opportunities within challenging conditions, instead of trying to completely remake the environment. So, this approach really opens up possibilities for expanding growing areas with minimal resource investment and maximum ecological benefit. So, are you ready to revolutionize your approach to challenging growing spaces? Give this method a try in your own garden and, document your results as you go. Go ahead and share your experiences with the Humus Heritage community. We absolutely love seeing how these techniques work in different climates and conditions. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe for more innovative gardening solutions, and share this video with fellow gardeners who might be struggling with their own impossible patches. Together, we're really proving that there's no such thing as ungrowable ground-only opportunities that are just waiting for the right approach. Happy gardening, and remember, sometimes the best solution is honestly the simplest one that works with nature instead of against it.